Hello and welcome to my first build order tutorial. The first build order I'm going to be going over in this series is going to be 12 full drone pull for ZVZ. This is going to be a replay that I played against Cham in the Sure Should I Open. So in this game, this map I believe is one of the maps that you can potentially wall off the main. So that's one of the things we'll be going over. So I wanted to start with this one because it's very basic, very simple. It's probably one of the easiest build orders there is to execute because there's not really much to do. So obviously you just wait to get 200 minerals to throw down your spawning pool. Until then, you can just bide your time by doing mineral micro, making sure your drones are on the right patches, all that good stuff. So at 200 minerals, we get our spawning pool, and then we're just going to drone to 14 out of 14. The thing what I do with my 12 full drone pool, which may be a bit different compared to other players, is I'll send, as soon as I put my spawning pool down, I'll send out this drone. And obviously he's going to be avoiding the overlord path that'll be coming through the middle, because we want to make sure he's going hatch first is the main idea with this, because if you pull drones against anything that's pull first, it's just an auto loss, right? So we just want a bit of security. This is going to cost you one pair of lings, which honestly doesn't matter quite as much with this version of the build, because in this version we'll be doing things a bit differently than your regular 3 spawns and leaving 3 drones at home. So he's just going to wait here for a little bit. In the meantime, our Overlord just popped, spawning pool's almost done, and we're about to make our 6 lings, our first 6 lings. As soon as you start these, this drone's going to go in to make sure he gets the hatch first. That way the second Overlord will already be on its way. So he gets the scout, hatch first. Okay, good to go. Immediately we're going to bind all of these guys because now we know what's up. Get to about 250 minerals is about where our marker wants to be, and then we're going to mineral walk them here. That way they don't get stuck on each other. So we're going to mineral walk them to his main and rally the lings right here by his gas. And from this point on, as far as macroing, all you have to do is make the lings. That's all you have to do. This drone comes up here before the lings get up to make sure he doesn't try and wall off once his first overlord sees. If he does, you just try and block the wall off with the drone, and then you make a spine. If you want to, I usually wait to make the spine until my units get a bit closer so I can actually defend it. Otherwise, these 3 drones could cancel it. Now in this, you have to remember he sent that drone down. A lot of pros you'll see do this. They'll send this drone down, and they'll try and hide it to make the spine. I've seen Lambo and Cyril do this both. So this is a very popular response in the higher league. So now here, our units are here. You can't do anything about this. Now with this version, we have no drones at home, and all the drones are pulled. And it's only 1 spawn crawler. So this gives us the ability to be a lot more aggressive because we'll have more units in the short term, but we have no follow-up behind it, so we really have a timer on our head with this one compared to the other one. So we just want to immediately fight straight away. This is a pretty popular thing where they'll try and do mineral drone and drone micro into the mineral patch and try and do the one-shot trick. But if you do it with your drones, you should have no problem. Here, I see the spine. I should have known this was here. This game I wasn't quite thinking about it because I was a little nervous with this match because I had just gotten off of a break. But here, these lings are just going to chase down the drones. We know lings are going to be popping from his main, so these, you should probably pull some lings too. But these drones are going to, in this replay, are going to zone out those lings. These guys go for the spine. I'm not really worried about them leaving. There's no need to chase them. That'd be silly. This fight's okay. Should probably have lings there just to be safe. And then at this point, this is going to stay here because he just hits any of the reinforcements coming from the main. And this queen's going to be a bit trapped since he's in the natural. And if he ever wants to come up, he has to take free hits. So at this point, I think we're in a pretty winning spot. All we have to do now is make sure we get the good fight that we want. Immediately, this is pretty nice. We get a full surround on everything. Drones on one side, lings on the other. Just a little bit of drone drilling to make sure they can walk through the units. And at this point, we just have really good surface area because he took a lot of damage on his drones trying to do the micro and transferring, just trying to keep them safe. But he took too much damage, and we had pretty good positioning in this game. So it's pretty simple, pretty basic, and that's it for this replay. We're going to go into a live game so you can see it from more of a first-person perspective. So I'll be right back with that. Alright, so here we have our live ZVZ. Hopefully this time we will get a proper hatch first from our opponent so I can properly show off the build, right? But pretty straightforward, just like I showed in the replay. We're going to be waiting to go for a 12 full, say 200 minerals. In the meantime, if you want, you can mineral micro, I guess. It's not really a big deal. Now that we place that down, we're going to go avoid the overlord. Send our drone over here. He's just going to chill. But yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, you don't have to spam really. I'm just doing this early game just because it's what I do. It just feels normal to me. Not anything that important, right? So at this point, it's really just waiting for the spawning pool to finish. That's how easy the build is. You really don't have to do anything. Sometimes they can get, this kind of build can get a little base rating. It gets kind of weird. Or sometimes you'll have to go back home with a, and I have had very few games, but some games where you actually play macro games out of this. So it's possible. Not very, very rare in my cases, but it's possible. Usually it's kind of a win-lose situation. You know, pretty straightforward, but we'll see. Start our first 6 lings. That means it's time for this dude to go check. See what we see. Hopefully the Overlord doesn't spot us. Don't think it should. Ah, we see a proper hatch first. I mean, we're going to bind all these guys. Okay, we're going to go ahead and head on out. 300 minerals. Cool. We're going to bind, so what I personally do is I'll bind my workers and attacking units all on one hotkey. That way, it's basically just like an F2 with the drones included, which is kind of nice. This drone is coming up a bit late. It should be up here earlier to make sure he doesn't block. Okay, sometimes you see this canceled hatch. This is a thing you see sometimes. I think it's because he wanted to wall this off, but we're making sure that doesn't happen. Just making sure this wall off doesn't go down, right? Okay, yeah. But this is fine. This isn't a proper wall off. So at this point, I didn't even make the spine. I don't think we need to. This should be pretty easy. We're going to go ahead and do the mineral micro, drone drill. It'll be pretty simple from there. The drone drill, you just click on this mineral patch and then attack move. He was just behind time anyways, so it didn't even matter that much for him. Micro lings a little bit. Make sure the weak ones are always in the back. We have really good surface area here. We can do the drone micro again, because now he has nothing to buy time for. He's just bleeding units, and we'll win eventually. So pretty straightforward. Yeah, the main thing was obviously we want to block this. That's what the drone's for, which is also a plus, making sure they don't go hatch first, or they do go hatch first, and if they don't, you can do something else. And if they do go hatch first, you can still block this if it's one of those maps. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Just to bide a lot of time. I didn't make the spine. I wound up making extra pairlings instead. It's always an option. That's really preference. In this situation, I felt like I could just dive on him since he wasted minerals on this, didn't cancel. So it worked out in the end. But yeah, this is the live version. So after this, I'm going to go ahead and show one live ZVP just to see what that would look like if it did happen. And then after that, it should be a wrap. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you for our ZVP. So we got a game against Paco Mike here. This is going to be a live test of our 12-pull drone pull versus Protoss. It's viable, not quite as good in my opinion, but it's definitely viable. I've seen it work against a few mid-tier players. I think I've seen it work against Poppy Joe and some of those other really good European Protosses. So it's not too bad. It's the real important thing is just denying scouting. So you're going to open up with a regular 12-pull. This you're not going to send the drone. There's no need in this matchup because they're going to be more than likely walling at this anyways. And even if not, it doesn't make the biggest of deals. So yeah, it's just going to be looking like a regular 12-pull. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this hatchery, and all we're going to do is make sure that probe dies, or at least runs away to where it doesn't have to scout. Now that's why it's not as effective, because if they micro correctly, their probe will always get away, so there's no real way to stop it from getting to scout if the opponent plays correctly. But everyone makes mistakes in StarCraft, doesn't matter what level you are, 7k, 5k, 2k, doesn't really matter. Everyone makes mistakes, it's just depending on how many. So builds like this are usually meant just to exploit mistakes. Okay, so we're going to make our first 6 lings. Now that this is done, we're going to send this drone to take this hatch. He's probably going to try and block it. That works for us. We don't really mind that too much. We're going to get these bad boys hotkeyed. We're going to use them here in a second. We're going to attack this pylon like we want to actually kill it. Okay, we're just still making lings here. We get the probe, so immediately that pulls the trigger. This is good. Oh, this pylon's actually going to scout. Okay, most people would not finish that. This is really bad now. We'll still try and make it work, because everyone can make mistakes, even once it's scouted. So, chances of him not seeing that are pretty much 0. We'll just have to try and micro way out of it. So we're going to be expecting a full wall now that he's scouted it, with his zealot and probes hiding behind the wall. Yeah, okay, this is what we expected, right? So now we're going to try and get these guys to all stack up, so we can one-shot this pylon. Gives us a bit of extra DPS in there, which is always really nice. Because if we only hit it one at a time, we wouldn't do any damage to this, really. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty easy hold for him, I believe. So the main thing we want to do is depower these bad boys, but in the meantime, we don't mind taking this fight. His goal is to buy time, right? While we want to just jump on him as fast as we can. Okay, the Adept's out, so we're going to have to really worry about that. That's going to be very difficult. So yeah, we're just constantly trying to take fights now. That's the goal. Taking fights is our friend. He's just trying to buy time for his Adepts right now, so we need to try and be very aware of what he wants. Oh, we got us surround on the Adept. This is very good. It's very, very good. We're going to micro this bad boy back, micro these back, so we want to play with support from these units. Okay. Now we see he still has something making, so we want to really try and get us around the best we can on these units. That's what these drones are here for. Get us around on these. And now, even though it was scouted, let's make sure he was looking actually, I'm quite curious. But even though it was scouted, even against this relatively high rated player, you know, 5'8", it's not bad. It still works. So even when they do scout it, it doesn't always fail. Because in this case, let's see if he did see it. Okay, he makes the pylon. I'm pretty sure he saw it. Alright. Let's see. He has to have seen this, right? Okay, yeah, he sees drones. Yeah, okay. So even though he scouted it, he still managed to lose to this. So it just goes to show that how powerful build it can be. Granted, against a bit of a better player, I don't think this would ever really work, but anything can happen. So in lower leagues, this should be great. Higher leagues can be a fun thing to throw in there every once in a while. So yeah. This is my 12-pull account. This is where I'll be doing most of my 12-pull builds if I ever do show any, but yeah, this is one of those nice things that you can just get away with every once in a while against really good players. So this has been 12-pull drone pull, relatively straightforward build. The reason I didn't show it against Terran is because it's just not viable due to Reapers being a thing. They're always just going to be able to out-micro you. You can do it, but, you know, I wouldn't. They can just full wall, and if they do scout it, and then you can't really break it like you would Protoss because they can just repair where Protoss can't. So I think the two matches we did show, we got a little lucky with our ZVP, I think. But our ZVZs, I think, were pretty relatively straightforward. And hopefully you can learn a thing or two. If you have any questions or any just comments on the build itself, just let me know. And I'll be hopefully back with a few more shorter builds, more aggressive shorter builds, just to keep it easy and basic. And then as we progress, we'll go into the more advanced builds later on. And maybe even some of my spicy secret builds. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed. And good luck on ladder. GG's.